Welcome everybody. Gotta get it. Okay, so grade 3 is here.
Yeah.
Grade 3. Nice, awesome. Grade 4. Woo! Grade 6. Woohoo! Grade 7. Woohoo! All right. I have some books here that I can give to your teachers. So, and then she can decide to distribute them to whom she wishes. But welcome everybody.
Maybe they could share.
On the screen there we have a lot of people, but Aude, this one here, is the author of this book, and she wrote it with Betty, who put some translations into it. And this was Aude's master's project. And so she was here to study permafrost and other things, erosion and so on. And it's all in this book that she created. It's a children's book. So she will introduce it to you. Welcome, Aude.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. Hello, everybody. It's nice to meet you and to see you in video. So I want to introduce myself a little bit, but first I want to thank Betty, who was really helped me make this bring this book alive with the content, helped me with the writing to make sure it was accessible to everybody, and as well as gave us insight into the drawing and all the illustration. So thank you very much, Betty, for all your time and help on this. She'll be present. She's gonna be reading the book later. I just wanted to talk a bit about me, how my journey, and also I want to thank Charlotte, who's a good friend of mine, and she was my roommate during my master's. And when I talked to her about this project and asked her if she wanted to do the illustration, she was really on board, and she drew amazing drawings for this book. And that's a teamwork. That's a teamwork to make this book. So just a quick introduction to talk about me. So I was born in France, and then I moved to Quebec when I was 14 years old. And a bit later on, I went to university to do my bachelor, where I studied biochemistry. And I met a professor that was doing more water science, and I was studying more the soil in the marine soil and water chemistry. And he told me about this wonderful institute that was a bit further in Quebec, further northeast. And that's when I met Gwenaëlle, who's also with us in this chat. And she told me about this wonderful project that was taking place in Tuktoyaktuk. So I was on board. So that's when I moved to Rimouski. So it's about 6-hour drive. It's not on a permafrost road, but it's a bit further northeast. And that's where I did my master's. So she told me about this wonderful project in Tuktoyaktuk. So that's when I had the chance to go. I didn't go right away when I started my master's because we were in the pandemic, so traveling were really restricted. But I went the year after. I went with two other master's students. We had to do a quarantine in Yellowknife, so we stayed 2 weeks in Yellowknife before making our way to Tuktoyaktuk. And that's where we met Betty, who was actually our neighbor. And she was so welcoming to us. And we also met Bruce and Michelle and a few other people. And we were really warmly welcomed. And we also did some workshops, and we went to the youth center also to talk about the project and to show how filtration works, just to show the instrument that we use when we take samples. And so that was a good way to meet everybody, to talk to everybody and get insights on what we were doing and how the land was changing, because that's really what we want to learn more about, is how erosion is affecting people's life as well. So now I just want to talk to you a bit more about my project. So the project is called Nuna Taryuk, so Earth to Ocean, Nuna and Taryuk. And it's part from a bigger project, a Canadian program that's called ArcticNet. And so what we're interested in, so if you look at the picture, just upper left, you see a permafrost cliff. So that's actually on the island that is across of Tuktoyaktuk. And this picture was taken after a very warm day. So it was about 27 degrees Celsius, and it was really, really warm. So that's where all the cliff kind of fell down. And we were collecting samples here, so you can see the soil going from the cliff to the ocean directly. And what we're trying to see is how this matter, how this soil is affecting the ocean. And because there's different reaction that can happen. It can go either in the air and increase the level of greenhouse gas, and it's going to go into the air and contribute to global warming. Or it can also get transported to the ocean, where it's going to react with the bacteria and different organisms in the ocean. And there's also another pathway, that's what interested us, where this soil is going to get trapped and hugged by other material, and it's going to get protected. And so it's not going to react with anything, and it's going to get stuck in the ocean floor. So that's what we were looking at. And on the picture just on the right, so upper right, you can see me on the beach on the island across. And you can see the pole. This pole is meant to collect some water. So the water that is in the ground, that's underground. So at the bottom of this pole, you have holes. And with a pump, you can pump the water out, and then you collect them and you send it to the lab, and it's going to tell you about the composition of the water. It's going to tell you a lot of different features that's going to help you really understand what's going on. And here you can see, so in the bottom left of the screen, you can see that's in Crumbling Point, which is in Summer Island. It's northwest from Tuktoyaktuk. And you can see this big block of soil that is falling into the ocean. So this is really what we're trying to understand here more, how this big block of soil is affecting the ocean. And here you can see, this is just in the bottom right, you can just see the lab I made in the Tuktoy B&B. So with James and Maureen's B&B. And that's where I spent most of my time, also doing experiments and sending my samples to Rimouski, to Quebec, to try to understand more. So now I'm just gonna, if my slides will change. Okay, so now I'm gonna let Betty read the book to you. And please appreciate all the beautiful drawing. And thank you so much, Betty, for doing this reading.
Okay. Yeah. I'm here to review this new book called The Tale of Sleeping Dom. Okay. It's about a little boy, who now let's see if I say for many years. And I hope you enjoy it. And it's got some Inuvialuit words in here which I will read to you. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Okay, once upon a time, or we could say Ingilaran, long time ago, more than 120,000 years ago, a young man named Dom was peacefully picking nauchet flowers on a cliff overlooking the ocean that we now know under the name of Arctic Ocean, or Taryuk. Okay. Blinded by the beauty of the land, which we call Nuna, Dom was no longer paying attention to where he was stepping, and suddenly he stumbled, he guttuck to the ground, and he hit his head on a rock, on a uyara. And as a result, the young man, the Nukatpiak, fell into a deep, deep coma or deep sleep. And his close ones would never know what happened to their dear Dom. And as days, months, and seasons passed, the body of the young man was buried by the buildup of organic matter, a product of rotting plants, nauchet, dead insects, and animals, nunamneriudit, or even of photosynthesis, the big word. As his body was starting to slowly decompose or turn rotten, the planet plunged into an ice age, and this Wisconsin glaciation, which lasted for tens of thousands of years. The ice, which we call siku, and the extreme cold temperatures kept the body of Dom perfectly preserved. So his body stayed the same for a long time under the ice, protecting him from the weathering and different processes that would lead to his rotting or decomposition. Well, more than 100,000 years later, that's a long, long time, as the temperature started to rise and more livable environment, big cities were developing at a rapid rate. Pollution caused by industrialization, agricultural activities, and fossil fuel extraction led the atmosphere toward higher concentrations of greenhouse gases, causing the climate to become warmer and warmer. The Arctic is greatly affected by these environmental changes, increasing the duration of the summer, Auyak, and increasing the rate of permafrost thaw. This soil, which had been frozen for thousands of years. Meanwhile, during a particularly hot summer day, near the Inuvialuit community of Tuktoyaktuk in the Northwest Territories, Canada, a girl, Inuvialuit, named Irony, and two of her friends, her Ilannarik, were walking on the shore, the Sina, along the Arctic Ocean. The girls, the Inuvialuit, were astonished by how quickly the coastal landscape was changed day after day. The permafrost was thawing at an alarming rate, releasing a great quantity of very old but perfectly preserved organic matter to the ocean, disturbing the water composition and the health of ecosystems, impacting fish and belugas, the pilaluga, and ultimately the humans. Thawing permafrost weakens the soil where houses or the igloo, roads, the upcutit, and other human-made infrastructure are built. Northern communities are built on these frozen grounds are greatly affected by these climate warming induced changes. Suddenly, boom, the cliff, the imnak that they were observing collapsed in front of their eyes, their eid, revealing the old forgotten body of God. And there in the picture you can see, so he fell out of the ice where his body was preserved. Well, we'll find out. Yeah. Freed from his coma, the young man, the Nukatpiak, and the girl had barely had time to look at each other and they fell in love instantly. The two individuals were looking deeply into each other's eyes and, hello, Dom chirped. Suddenly, Dom let out a shrill cry. Ah! Dom looked down on his arm and his talik and his skin was starting to break down. Without hesitation, Irony rushed to him. She was holding him tightly in her arms to protect him, and determined to help the young boy, Irony's friends followed her lead. Confused, Dom did not understand what was going on, but he realized that he was no longer in pain. The barrier created by the girls, the Inuvialuit, protected him from the pain. In fact, Irony and her friends, her Ilandaik, had learned earlier in the week that once exposed to the air, the old material, which had been perfectly preserved in a frozen soil, was very quickly degraded by microbes and sun, the siphonet. These processes are called mineralization, had the ability to break down organic matter, ultimately releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This matter could also be carried away by the hungry ocean, the Daryok, which would have rushed to transform it into smaller parts. Irony had the instinct to hug Dom because she had also learned that there were processes which would protect this matter. Indeed, in a coastal environment where waves break the malik on the shore, the storms beat down on the cliffs. Oxygen comes and goes, favoring the settling of compounds such as iron. Once in contact with the oxygen, the iron traps the old organic matter into its core, protecting it from decomposition and capturing it in the seafloor. Nothing. It is the same phenomenon had pushed Irony and her friends to protect Dom. For the sake of climate change, Dom, Irony, and her friends remained inseparable and lived together happily ever after. Let's not exaggerate here. This strong friendship could be broken if an argument were to break out within the group. In other words, this protective bond might not last forever, and Dom would once again be a potential source of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. We have to be end of the story. For Aude, anybody have
Thank
any
you.
questions for Aude?
Thank you so much, Betty. That was wonderful. And I'm so happy that you were.
Pardon?
Does anybody has questions?
Anybody, any questions? Okay. Dimitri?
That was a very great story.
Oh.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you.
I really think how the material of this, of like the book, like this is like made out of. What is it made out of?
It's made of a very glossy paper, so it's a fancy paper.
Pretty ninety, Dimitri. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Why does the girls have wings? Like fairy wings.
It's because it's a fairy tale, so it's to add the fairy of the fairy tale.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then
I didn't mention that at the beginning, but it was a fairy tale story.
they're actually fairies in
But based on like true things, but that could happen, even in a fairy tale story. Any other questions from anybody from the grade 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s? Yeah? Dario,
I thought that number was salt.
you know what? Dario is also table salt, but it also, because in our culture, we didn't have that salt, right, at the table. But we know that there's salt in the ocean, like there's the ocean water is salty. So that's why we call our table salt Dario. So the table salt and the ocean are both Dario, because they are both salty. Okay? Any others?
How do you pronounce man? How do you say man in Inuvialuit?
Man,
Yeah.
Inuk.
You know?
Yeah.
What about the young man?
Nukatpia.
How do you say-
Nukatpia. Nukatpia. Yeah. Or if you say Nukatpiralok, one young man, Holly. Nukatpiralok.
And Angon is also man.
Yes, Angun too is man. Yeah, there's different ways that we could say Angun or Inuk. Inuk is really a person, but Angun is man. And Nukatpiak is a young man, like a teenager or maybe your age, you could be called Nukatpiralok. And girls, you are Niliak Siralok. Niliak Siralok. Yeah.
I get tongue tied.
Yeah, it's a bit Yeah, it's a bit tricky with the language sometimes. Yeah. Any other questions or comments for Aude or myself?
There's Charlotte was also, just gonna let Charlotte also talk a bit about her drawings, and then maybe if other people have questions at the end, we can maybe discuss a bit more. Charlotte just so she did all the drawings, and she just wanted to kind of show what she got inspired from. So Charlotte, I'll let you talk about that.
Yes, thank you. So, hello everyone. So, like Aude said, I did all the drawings on the book. So, I'm also a master's student in oceanography, and we met through school in Rimouski. So, it was my first time doing a project like that, and it was a lot of fun for me. So, I wanted to show you a little bit more of the creative process. So just for your information, I did all the drawings with an iPad and an Apple Pencil using the application GoodNotes. So we tried our best to include representative landscape, plants and animal, but also some cultural elements. So for that, I mostly inspired myself from Aude's pictures, and I will show you some of them. And I will also highlight some elements that are from the region and that we included in the book. So first, here is the cover of the book. So of course, we find a lot of landslides and erosion in the drawings. It's a big part of the subject. So on the picture on the right, we can see well here how is the ground falling, the texture of the soil, and all the plants. So that's what I tried to recreate in the drawings. And here we can see the little bird. So it's an Arctic tern, and the plant is a lupine. So on the next page, we see here the view of Tuktoyaktuk. So to the right is the picture I recreated. I tried to draw as precisely as possible so we can really recognize all the houses. On the next one, okay. Here is them picking up the flowers in the land. So I represented some native flowers. So the white ones are the Arctic cotton, the red one are the Arctic willow, and there's also some cloudberries.
Oh, the upbeat, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, on the next slide, there's the permafrost cliff that Aude was presenting earlier. So I used that point of view for when them is coming back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one is Rumbling Point. You might have recognized it with the dark soil and the big chunk of land that are falling. And here on that drawing, I wanted to highlight some elements. It's Irony and her friends. So here there's the driftwood. There's also Irony who's wearing a nulu around her neck. And her friends have face tattoos and earrings. And up here, there's the inspiration for the clothing that they're wearing.
That's nice.
You can recognize Betty.
Yeah.
And there's Shania, who's Bruce's daughter.
So that's about it.
Great, thank you, Charlotte. And the attic looks are beautiful, and I noticed that Betty, you're wearing one. It looks beautiful. Does anybody has questions for Charlotte regarding more the creative process and the drawing? Does anybody love drawing and like to draw the land and
You like to draw? Anybody else like to draw?
Yeah.
Okay, Robin, yeah, I'd like to see some of your drawings someday. Maybe in the hallway. Yeah, you like to draw too?
You think someday?
Oh, I see. Okay. So actually, we have many good artists in here, so hopefully a lot of your artwork will go out into the world so that we could teach the rest of the world about our land, our Nuna, about Tuktoyaktuk.
Miss Betty, how did you pick down an iron as name?
Maybe that's a question for Aude.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
How did you pick the name Aude and irony and
Yeah. So the
Irony.
irony is because so it's supposed to reproduce the real reaction that it happens with iron. So that's the compound that is protecting the soil. So it's like a derivative of iron. So I just added a Y. So that's why she's called irony. And dumb is called dumb because it's the contraction for dissolved organic matter, which is the soil. And that's why he's called dumb. So it's D-O for organic, M for matter.
yeah. Okay. Pre-90 for explaining that. Anybody else? have
Quinine.
Teachers, students? Nukat pirat, nibak sirat.
we have questions.
Go ahead.
How come the science? When did she come to tax?
Oh. Okay, yes. Did you hear that? Oh,
Why did I come to talk to do that, right?
when did you come to Tuktoyaktuk?
Oh, when?
Yeah.
I came in 2021, so 3 years ago, and then I came back 2 years ago to present the book also to the community. I went back to the youth center and presented the book, and I collected insights from everybody and to really incorporate and add all the culture part to the book and make sure it represents the community, because that was really important to the book.
Yes, Misha? Okay. How long did you have to stay in
So the first time I came in
studies and book and everything? Yeah.
Yeah, so in 2021, I stayed a month and a half. So that was actually a good amount of time. And that's why I had the opportunity to meet so many great people and really made friends. And then I came back the year after, and that was only a week. And I hope to go back one day during the winter. I would love to see the land and with ice and just also to not have sun for 1 month. So that's quite the experience, I think. I think you guys just started to have sun again, no?
Yeah, the sun. When does the
Have
sun
daylight.
go down again? How long do we have the sun during the day? Every day, all day long, right? Yeah, it's still shining about 11:30, 12 o'clock p.m.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we're all looking forward to the spring. Anybody going to Inuvialuit, to Husky Lakes? Mama, and what are you gonna catch there? Fish, big fish, yeah. So maybe you could tell her, maybe you could tell them, because they don't really know about how it is in the winter up here. Maybe some of you could tell them about the winter up here.
Yes, please.
Yes, about what temperature it's called. But there it's pretty warm for the winter. -30. -30, yep. Yeah. Today's what, -30 with the wind chill today.
Oh wow, today. Wow, you have to dress really warm. Really, really warm.
Okay, go ahead. Oh. Yeah, we found out when you were here, but he wanted to know, when did you leave?
Oh.
That's a good question there, Robin. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so that was a long time here. And then she got to see lots of Tuktoyaktuk.
Yes, I met a lot of great people. as well. And I hope to come back one day.
And oh, where are you now?
Oh, right now I'm in Barcelona in Spain. Actually,
Okay.
yes. So it's really warm. It's actually 27 degrees right now.
Oh my
You can
God.
see the sun on my face.
So we're like the opposite now.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
really far. I was at a conference and it just ended. So now I'm visiting the city. It's beautiful, beautiful building, beautiful history. And it's my first time there, so it's very nice. Quite the opposite to Tuktoyaktuk temperature-wise.
Where were you born?
Where were you born?
I was born in just outside Paris. Just outside Paris, and I came with my family when I was 14 years old to move to Canada, Quebec.
Okay. Well, anyway, Damapsi for coming.
Kuinani, everybody.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very much, and see you soon, I hope.
I like it. Whoa. Nice to see you all.
Teresa, do you want to come and say hi?
Very nice to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
This is Teresa. She's from TAP,
Hi.
and she's back to teach Inuvialuit and on the land learning, and so we're happy.
Oh,
to have her.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, and initially your books, when I couldn't find them, they had gone to Teresa.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
For you for including Inuvialuit in your book.
Yes.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's so important, and I hope you're doing such an amazing job to try to teach the
That's
younger
my favorite topic.
generation.
Inuvialuit.
I know
And,
it is. I hope you're not too
and I
tired,
just want to
Betty,
say too,
from all.
like when we have French visitors from other, well, anywhere, they come and you could have them repeat Inuvialuit words or sentences, and they're just perfectly sounded the same.
Because of the R, huh? Because of the
Yeah.
way the R is
And
pronounced.
and all that.
Yeah. True.
Like for instance, the school is called Elisarvik. Elisarvik.
Elisarvik.
Yeah,
Elisarvik.
yeah. It's almost like you could speak in the dialect and
Yeah. I remember the priest, you were mentioning the priest that was there for quite some
Father
time.
Lemire, Father Lemire,
Yes.
yeah.
And he was
spoke-
completely, fully
Yeah.
bilingual.
Yes, he was fluent in Inuvialuit, so he visited a lot of the elders, and they were able to, tell stories and pass on information. So it was really good. So I thought, because I'm on my journey right now into relearning the Inuvialuit language, so I'm still there, but I'm glad I got
With
to.
your brother, right? With your
Yeah,
brother,
with my
huh? Your
brother,
brother
yeah.
speaks very well.
Yeah.
Can I just say thank you to Charlotte for doing all of the designs in this book. They're really nice. They really
Yes,
fit the
really.
story.
Yeah.
And also thank you to Viri. This would not have happened without her. Oh my God. You saved our life.
Yes, thank you
My
so much,
pleasure.
Viri. Yes,
Hey,
and thank you
so-
to Gwenaëlle also, who really made also that project happen. And she was my supervisor during my master's, and she trusted me, sending me to Tuktoyaktuk alone. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
And you ended
As
up
well.
making lifelong friends here, right?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like you to meet somebody here. His
Oh,
name
yeah.
is Hi.
This is our Dom.
This
I
is
think
our
You
Dom.
might have met him.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard about that. There was a dom in the community. Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm happy for her, inviting me to bring in the language in there into the content of her story. So I was really happy for that. And then when I saw the story and the words, the vocabulary, even I have to like, what is this? I mean, like, because they're all different words that we don't use up here, huh? So we talked about a bit about that, Aude and I, because we're thinking, because our language is so much more different, like we use, because we're just actually really just learning English too, huh? Yeah, like we're the sort of like the third generation. Yeah. And also I liked how the pictures were, like they resemble the people or fashions with the atiklook and the ulu necklaces and stuff. So I was really happy for that that.
Yes, I think that was a really good add to that was a very good idea, and
Yeah.
that was definitely a must. And that was not present in the first version, but and Charlotte did an amazing job to represent, even if she didn't see it from her own eyes, but from her producing from the pictures that I took of you.
Yeah,
I
and
took of
also
you
through
and your
the content, the whole explanation of like glaciation and all that, because the kids won't know glaciation and all those other words. So with bringing it to the school and have their teachers, take it apart kind of and simplify it maybe for them and give it, and maybe take them for walks to the ocean and get them to see.
Right.
Because right now, what's happening is that they're tearing up the ocean, they're tearing up the beaches here, the banks, and they're making a shoreline protection just a few feet
Right.
off the bank. Yeah, so that's a big project that they're doing for protection of the erosion from.
So they
erosion.
started that. They started doing that already.
Yeah, they have started it, so there's truckloads of big boulders and everything, and everybody's watching it, and it's changing, like, are we gonna be able to enjoy our beaches again, or, yeah.
At
But
least it's not going to be
it's for our
disappearing.
protection,
So
so we don't erode away.
yeah,
Or fall into the ocean like that.
exactly.
Like Dom.
Are there more houses that got displaced, or since
No, but they're just, there's just the three of them, yeah, but still a lot of erosion, where Lady of Lords is at, that boat?
yeah.
Okay, that section has eroded more from the waves.
Where the cemetery is, huh?
Yeah, and the cemetery too, and the one going to the point.
And Teresa lives on the other side of the cemetery, not on the health center side, but on the other side. That's her house.
Wow.
So they're
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're really working behind. Do you remember Ryan Yakalaya's house, which was
Where, sorry?
Ryan's house? There was only one basically left on that side other than theirs. That one too is pretty close, and they're doing all the shoreline. They're kind of dredging right now and putting in riprap. So
yes, okay.
a lot of it, yeah. So I'm okay to hold it, but that's the plan right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope they won't have to move any more houses. I hope.
I hope not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful to have news from Tuck and what's going on there. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
we have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can stand up.
Yeah.
See.
Rings book.
Yeah.
How long has Dom been sleeping? I'm
10,000.
joking. How long?
Yeah, like about 100,000 years old. It's quite a long time. During it's just sleeping in ice, perfectly preserved. Don't try it. I'm not sure it's gonna work.
So with other matter in the Arctic, is there a lot of things that are preserved? Because I'm hearing about people finding things from thousands and thousands of years ago that are perfectly preserved.
Yes,
But-
it works for
Such as insects, such as mammoth husks and things like that, and they're preserved.
yeah. No, that works for many things are preserved, but it doesn't mean that that they're coming alive, but that they were perfectly
Yeah,
preserved.
but in the storybook they can. But I'm glad with all the information here with the teachers, Queen Eileen. Yeah, with all the teachers reading this and getting a better understanding, then they can extract from here and do like units or, explanation. Like I say, maybe go for walks to be for the erosion.
Yes.
Because it's happening right here, right?
Yes, exactly. And when I came, so in 2022, we went with the younger people with at the youth center. We went to see the permafrost a bit because there were, or like we saw the eroding, not the permafrost, but the eroding soil there, and I showed them. But I know they're already really aware of this and the problem it has, because of course it's a big concern there in Tuktoyaktuk.
And I'm glad to that these younger ones were able to take part in, even though like it may have been a little bit like some of the words vocabulary was a bit more
big words,
higher level. But I'm glad they were here to get the idea of how actually.
Yes, and they were great questions, so that was really good.
Okay, well, I'm gonna
really
get home and do my sewing.
Yes, are you doing
A
any
lot of
souvenirs?
tourists are coming this summer, so I gotta get my sewing done. I work with furs and hides, and I work with a laser, lasering out my wooden ulus or circular, and I engrave Tuktoyaktuk or Arctic Ocean, and then I add hides and furs to them of all kinds.
Thanks to you, so many people have them in Quebec because you I bought quite a few from you.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Queen Annie.
Thank you very much. Queen Annie, Betty.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you so much.
Yes.
And talk to you soon.
Okay. All right. Keep in touch.
Yes, keep in touch.